everybody doing? This is Roy Doyle with www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com show. And today is just another one of our celebrity interviews. And today we're doing Firefall, a group that I've always loved. I got tons of their albums here. And we're going to do Jock Bartley and Mark Andez. They're the founding members of the group. I'm going to be calling them in just a second. And we'll get the scoop on what they've got going right now with the COVID-19 and their new album, Comet, that's coming out. And so it should be a lot of fun to hear the history of it, because, like I said, this is one of the groups I really, really liked. And Jeff couldn't be here because COVID-19 got him. And so, but he'll be back on the next interview. The next interview we're doing with the OJs. Money, money, money. I can't wait for that. One of my favorite groups also. I love these groups. And but we bring them to you. And it's just, you go into www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com show and go to interviews. And boom, there they are. We've got all kinds of bands in there, from Creedence Clearwater Revival, Grand Funk Railroad, and many, many more. So it's just a thing that we do just for you guys out there. And so stay tuned. Coming up in just a second, it's Firefall. We're going to be talking with Jacques and Mark. They're the founding members of the group, and they'll be coming to you in just a second. As soon as I dial them, we'll try this three-way calling. Not really good at it, but we're going to try it just for you. So let's try it right now. Putting on the glasses. Ta-ding. And we're going to try it. Let's try Jock first, okay? Let's see how this works. Okay, I'm not going to tell you his number. It's a secret.
Hello.
Hey, Jock. Hang on. I'm going to call Mark. I just had him on the other line, so hold on.
Okay, great.
Hey, Mark, hang on. There we go. We're going to merge this in. And it should be coming up. It's merging calls now. There we go. Is everybody on the line now?
Hello.
Hey.
I'm here.
All right.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Really good. Good, Chuck. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Outstanding. I tell
Hey,
you,
Roy, how are you doing?
well, besides being older, fatter, and balder, I'm doing pretty good. You guys
Yeah, man.
You guys surviving the COVID-19 thing?
Yes. In a word. but boy, it hit close to home a few times. That's for sure. No deaths that I am aware of, fortunately. But yeah, How about you, Jocko? You got it exposed, so right?
It's good. Colorado just had its highest number of hospitalizations yesterday and the day before, so we're in the middle of it too, and I'm just staying home, not seeing anybody.
Well, that's terrible for you guys. I mean, you guys have been on the tours for years and years. I mean, and you guys were one of my favorite groups. I mean, I love Firefall.
Thank you.
This is a real pleasure having you guys on.
Yeah, we're in the business of making a crowd of people happen, and that's not a good thing right now.
I tell you, that's what a lot of the bands are. They're just saying. And a lot of bands, their crews are out of work, so I was really sad about that.
Right, a lot of people don't realize that not only does it affect the bands themselves, the members of the bands, but the sound guys, the lighting guys, the people that work the venues, you know, the bus drivers, all those people who are part of the troupe. None of us have work right now.
That's terrible. But how did you guys even get started down this road? I mean, you guys have been doing this for years and years and years, and I mean, you've had a string of hits, and you played with everybody. How did all this start with you guys?
Well, I guess I'll field that one. When I was playing with Graham Parsons and Emmylou Lou Harris and the Fallen Angels, I met Rick Roberts in New York City. Rick Roberts, of course, replaced Graham Parsons in the Flying Burrito Brothers with Chris Hillman. And when we learned that we both lived in Boulder, Colorado, we said, hey, man, we should get together. And Rick was thinking about making a third solo record, and I was going to play guitar on it. But as soon as Mark Andes, who'd moved from L.A. into the mountains above Boulder, got involved with some of our rehearsals, it really started feeling like a band. And Rick said, hey, I know this great singer-songwriter in D.C., Larry Burnett, and we should get him out here. And we did, and Firefall pretty much started, and we had about 20 or 25 original songs to work out on our first day of practice, thanks to Rick and Larry. So Mark and I, as the players, were really, in hog heaven having that many great songs to play.
And you guys gone through so many transitions. I mean, there's been a lot of people who's played with Firefall.
Well, Jock's been the constant. He's kept his band going all this time. He's the last man standing for sure.
Yeah, because I was reading through it. I'm like, holy crap! I can't keep up. This person's gone. This person's back. But it's amazing. The music just keeps going on, though.
And truthfully, Roy, the reason that I kept it going even when I was the last original guy standing was the songs were so good, and we had thousands and millions of fans out in the world who wanted to hear those songs played live. And for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been really, really great having Mark Andes and David Muse, the sax flute keyboard player, and an original member also. So the three of us are back in the band, and we were, like you said, we were touring a lot until about February or January this year, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out.
Yeah. Anytime you have like 3 original guys from a band of that era, people realize that there's something really cool could happen on stage,
And what do you think the point in your career where you guys, hey, I think we actually made it? When do you think that point was for you guys? Or have you reached that point yet?
Well, everybody had been in the music business to some degree before we put Firefall together. So everybody, Rick had success he had that song, Colorado. So, he had success. I was in good LA bands back in the 60s. So, everybody, and Jock was doing his thing with Emmylou Harris and the Fallen Angels. So everybody kind of had an idea, so that's sort of set the tone. But I think everybody, by the time they got together in Firefall, knew that everybody involved was a serious musician. Let's just put it that way.
Now, Mark.
And in answer to your question, when we started having hit singles like You Are the Woman or Just Remember I Love You, and then when we were fortunate enough to be chosen to be the opening act for bands like Fleetwood Mac during the Rumors tour, to me, a little Boulder, Colorado guitar player, that's when I kind of thought, wow, maybe I've made it. When you're playing in front of 80,000 people, 5 days a week with Fleetwood Mac, who was the biggest band of the day back in 1977, we've been really lucky, and, the bottom line of it, Roy, is that it goes back to the song. And Mark will, I'm sure, agree with me. He's a great bass player. I'm a guitar player. If you don't have really good songs to play, you will have never gotten on the radio. So we take our hats off to and, honor Rick Roberts and Larry Burnett, the two singer-songwriters from Firefall back in the 70s, because they wrote the songs that we played.
Where were you guys at when you heard the first Firefall song on the radio?
Just great. It was just great. And, Mark had been in in really successful bands, and Spirit had, toured with Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin.
Holy cow.
And played a lot of those really big Atlanta Pop Festival gigs, But for me, who had fairly limited success on a national basis, when you hear your new hit single, "You Are the Woman," on the radio, and it's getting saturation airplay, you kind of have to just smile and go, boy, aren't we lucky? Because even back then it was hard to get on the radio.
Now, like I said before, you guys had a lot of transitions. I know Mark left the band. What was some of the causes for people actually leaving the band? I mean, you guys had success. You think everybody would stick to it?
Well, we had a kind of a little bit of a self-destructive streak, you might say, and it just really began to affect our performances, and I just had to draw a line, and it happened in 1980, so I left the band then and went back to California, and eventually got with the hard people, but that I think it was just a difference of opinion about stuff.
Well, and the truth is that back in the 70s there were some drug and alcohol problems which
really
made our performances night after night suffer sometimes. And and when you're a vocal band, out there trying to sing your songs, and your singers aren't singing that great, it's really tough. And and I mean, the 70s were the 70s, so a lot of times bands are like marriages, and don't survive after 3, 4, 5 years. So we had a really good run. Once the dust settled, and I realized that I was the only guy who didn't quit the band, and I could, if I wanted to, keep it going. I knew the songs and what we had made in the 70s could keep going, so I kept it going. And David Muse and Mark Andes back in the band just gives us, it's just so great playing with those guys, and it's really magical sometimes when we get to play those very familiar songs that you get to go new places with them.
Now, they always say hindsight's 20/20. If you could go back, what was one thing that you think you could change that would have maybe set you guys on a different course?
No, I would have really been a lot more proactive with Rick and Larry taking better care of themselves. I mean, I think that what I've learned now, and our level of communicating skills, and really getting interventions and stuff, we could have really done. And the same with Spirit. We lost Randy kind of there for a while emotionally. He kind of withdrew and had a really dark period of time. So I regret not having better communicating skills back then.
And the truth is we didn't know those things back then.
Yeah, that's true.
For a couple of years, it was such a whirlwind and a comet ride where, I mean, I couldn't, for a few years, not only could I not have a dog or a cat in my house because I was gone all the time, but I couldn't even really have plants in my apartment because we were gone sometimes 3 weeks a month. And
holy cow.
When you're out there just doing it and playing a different city, and you have a new crowd every night that paid money to come and see you, and it's just a whirlwind that, I mean, even if I had wanted to, we wouldn't have been able to change anything. And I'm just lucky that, for 4 or 5 years, we burned as bright as we did. And, again, thanks to the songwriters.
I tell you, now when you got... Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I would like to interject.
Okay.
That having the 3 original guys playing with Sandy Ficca, who's been in the band 35 years, and the new lead vocalist, Gary Jones, is really a pleasure. And David has been playing so well the last few years with beautiful conversational soloing and it's just very, very, very special, and we've had some very high moments lately. So hopefully we can keep doing that when things kind of get more normal.
Well, you got music coming out, right? With was it Comet? I think that's your new CD that's coming out.
Yeah, our new record.
Yeah, record.
We have new products coming out real soon, which feels great. And just to how that happened, Firefall, like a lot of the bands of our day who goes and still plays concerts, we've been coasting on our hits. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we started playing Nature's Way in concert. The great Randy California Spirit Firm that was kind of like an anthem for environmental and the end of the hippie days from 1970. And Mark sang it, and it was going over so well on stage that we decided, well, maybe it is time to put a new record out, which was great for me because I thought, well, great, let's go in the studio, let's write songs, let's go put the song search on for outside writers, and let's see if we could make a record. And it took us forever to make this record because we lived in 5 different states, and we never really could find times where we could go spend 3 days or 5 days in the studio, practicing or recording or whatever. But we're really happy that it turned out great, and just really excited about having a couple of new songs. And our new single, Way Back When, looks back at the great music of the late 1960s, and kind of honors where we all came from musically.
Well, go ahead, Mark. Okay.
Oh, that's well said. Clever song. It's a wonderful song. I think that this is a really wonderful way to keep connected to our people, and they are a loyal group of people, and they support us in shows and online and stuff. So I do want to take a poll, though, because I think that Firefall should release a limited edition, very high quality vinyl release. This CD thing is good and it's practical for shows, but I think there are some really good audio files that I think would really, really pay high dollar for a really nice pressing of this record.
See, I've got their original vinyls.
I agree.
I've got your original vinyls here.
There you go. And some of the pressings were crap. I mean, but something like Verve and Blue Note and those record labels had really nice vinyl, but some of the we would see horrible pressings from Atlantic when we were doing vinyl, as I recall. At least.
Right.
Well,
and you know what? Who knew back in those days that vinyl of the 50s and 60s would be, in an audio sense, far superior to cassette tapes or later CDs and everything that's really squished down, and you get really good sound out of vinyl. And I agree, Mark. I hope our new record label will put out even a limited edition of vinyl.
Well,
and I think it would be a fun experiment, and I'll tell you that I think you will love it because it expands the artwork to be those big, beautiful prints and stuff, and you have to end the first side with a song and start the second side.
Right. I actually missed that. I remember, Mark, in the old days when we'd have 10 songs and we were getting ready to put out a record, and we had to figure out what the order was. Okay, let's start the first side with this song. That's the obvious choice. And let's end the first side on a highlight and boom. And then the second side, the B side, will start off with, whatever. And, it was so much fun back in those days.
Well,
yeah.
Well, there's been.
Anyway, I think it would be worth checking out anyway.
Well, we heard rumors that you guys are going to go down a different avenue for your next project and maybe get into something like gangster rap. Is that true?
Well,
in vinyl.
I'm a little old for that, and I don't relate to talking on records. I relate to good singing. You know, I've been in Firefall for most of my adult life, and you know, we set the bar really high back in the '70s with Rick and Larry's vocals and all of us singing on the record, and you know, and one of the things that I wanted to really try to keep, you know, I wanted half of this new record, you know, give or take a few songs. I wanted about half of this record to really sound like what people thought Firefall should sound like, and have acoustic guitars and nice vocals, and also have that interplay between David Muse on flute and sax and me on lead guitar, which is kind of a rare thing now. You know, that doesn't happen too often, and I feel really good about, you know, how the record, this new record, Comet, holds up, and it sounds a lot like the older Firefall, but there's new stuff, and we break some new boundaries too. So that's what albums should do, is you should be familiar enough to have your fans still love it, but also have some new, you know, new territory to go to also. So I'm just happy that after all this time we've got a new record out, and you know, people like yourself, Roy, are interested in having Mark and I on the radio.
Well, I tell you, if you're ever playing in Arkansas, then just look us up and we'll get you some of the best barbecue in the state. Of course, you guys have to pay for it.
Well, I have a good Arkansas connection. The drummer for JoJo Gunn, Curly Smith, grew up in Texarkana.
Yep, right on the border.
And was, yeah.
Texarkana. And Mark lives in Texas right now, in the Houston area.
Yeah, I do.
Well, now, when you guys you're not playing music right now because of COVID-19, what do you guys do to keep yourself busy? I know
Mark, I'll let you feel that way.
Well, I'm in a weird situation. My wife is crazy, and she has this small horse property northwest of Houston, and there's 5 horses and lots of ridiculous amount of mating. In fact, I wound up appreciating how cool it is when you don't have to go through the trouble of making a living, when you don't have. I haven't been able to work, so I've been really enjoying. But boy, when you have so much responsibility and have to go on the road and come back, it's overwhelming. So there's a lot of animal stuff to do here for me.
That's really cool. I live outside of Denver, Colorado, in Westminster, and you know, I'm a painter, so I have a lot of free time on my hands. So I've actually been doing a lot more artwork, paintings and pastels, and I'm writing songs and, you know, just keeping busy. But it's so weird because, you know, up until, you know, January of 2020, but in 2018 and 2019, we were on the road flying to different cities every weekend pretty much. And to now suddenly not go anywhere is very sobering, and you look around your house and go, well, now what do I do?
Do you sell any of your artwork? I mean, do you do any shows of it?
I am starting to sell some stuff. It's been more of a hobby, really, than an art career like I had hoped it would be a number of years ago. But, yeah, you know, and I just did a new Beatles painting from the Ed Sullivan Show that a lot of people online have said, let me know when you get prints made up. I'd love to buy one. So, yeah, I'm thinking, well, heck, I'm not making any money on music right now. Maybe I should play Prince. But, you know, it's just great. And, you know, and to have a new album out for Firefall is really great, and Mark and I were instrumental in talking our manager into releasing it this year and not waiting like a lot of bands will probably do until the middle of 2021. I mean, who knows what we're going to be doing June or July of 2021. And I'm just glad that our fans will have some new music to listen to here, this year.
Now, if like your fans out there, if they want to get more information about what's coming out and what you guys are doing, or your schedules once the COVID-19's over, where can they go to find this information?
FirefallOfficial.com is our website that we're making sure is updated and stuff. You can listen to our new songs from Comet on YouTube and buy stuff on Amazon, but we certainly, our manager and our agent are sending us a lot of the gigs that canceled this summer in 2020 have been rescheduled to June or July of 2021. So unless this keeps going, we're planning on being out there here in the next 6 or 8 months, touring again and being able to, see our fans and have them hear our music and do the meet and greets that we love doing, because you get to meet your people.
Well, I tell you, it's been a real pleasure having you guys on, and we look forward to having you guys here in Arkansas. Like I said, when you guys come here, we'll hook you up and take you out for some real good barbecue.
That sounds great, Roy.
But I really appreciate it, and you guys have been great.
Thanks for having us on and pushing whatever new songs you're going to play, and thanks for playing our old songs too. You guys in radio do a huge service to all the people who are starved for entertainment. So thank you, Roy.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, really.
And I'll send you the podcast of this so you guys can have that also.
Thank
you again, Roy.
Oh, no problem. Thank you guys for coming on. And Firefall, one of my favorite albums and favorite groups.
Merry Christmas.
You too. You guys stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. See you, John.
There we go. Wasn't that great? I mean, those guys are great, man. He has horses and stuff. Jeff mixed this one, but that was Firefall we just did. Jock and Mark, they were the founding members of the group, and they gave us a little insight of how the band got started and some of the troubles they had, and it was great. That was a nice little interview, and this is just one of the interviews that we'll bring you. Like next time, I think we're doing the OJs, but these are celebrity interviews that we bring you on www.arkansasshowcaseradio.com. So stay tuned, and we're out of here. Jeff will be here next time, so bye-bye.